All right. Well, hello, everyone. I'll give everyone a second to hop on here for day 1 of our Truth About Money 2.0. Because we did the Truth About Money 1.0 and it was fantastic. And now it's back by popular request. And we are going to go even deeper into understanding money, understanding how to make it work for you, understanding how to feel better about it, dispelling a lot of the stuff that's out there that is not helpful when it comes to really creating more money in our lives, feeling good about money in our lives. And so this is for you if you have had trouble creating money easily in your life, if you feel like you work hard for money, if you feel anxiety around money, if you are somebody in the manifestation world that has been trying to manifest money and like you just keep hitting a brick wall. We're going to talk about why that happens. We're going to talk about why when the world influxes a bunch of money into it, it seems to just create more billionaires. We're going to talk about why tons of money courses don't work for so many people. We're going to talk about why so many people are a slave to the dollar and how to break out of that. We are going to talk about so many things. Hello, I'm starting to see comments. Yay. Hello, Gail and Vivi. Say hello as you're hopping on. Let me know where you're joining us from. I love to know where all my people are. I think it's so fun when like, hello, Astrid, when you guys are all over the world. It's just so cool, right? When you think about it, that like, I'm here, you're all over the place, and we're coming together to talk about this stuff. But I'm really excited to do this. All right, we got Germany, I love it. Really excited to talk to you guys about this. And it was funny because hello, Ember, for a long time, I talked a lot about money. And I helped a lot of people really create a better feeling around money, create flow in their life around money, create more money. And then, I was in the personal development world and the coaching world, and it got so icky to me. Like how people were talking about it, how money was being relayed, how it was almost being worshipped. Ooh, from Belgium, love it. It got yucky to me. And so I stopped, honestly, for a while. Like I was like, oh, I just don't want to talk about this. Maybe it's not good to talk about this. Like I don't want to perpetuate this. And I really realized I wasn't perpetuating anything that wasn't good. Because at the end of the day, you guys, money is important. Period. End of story. You can say to yourself all you want that money doesn't matter and blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, it does. It is the way we have decided to live in this world and to live in this world, and we need it. If we are going to be our fully expressed selves and get to have our fully expressed adventure here in this realm. And most of us don't have it. Very few of us feel free when it comes to money. And I want you to ask yourself, no matter what amount you have right now, do you feel free when it comes to money? Do you feel like you are in charge of your money, or do you feel like money is in charge of you? And be honest with yourself, because most of us feel like money is in charge of us, right? Money limits, we're always, oh, that's too expensive. I don't have enough. I'll have to wait on that, right? Instead of being in the energy of there's always more, there's always enough, I get to do whatever I want, money's always coming to me, is always growing. And those things sound nice to say, right? I mean, they sound nice to say. And we often say them to ourselves, but they often don't happen for us. And we're going to talk about why that is. Because there's reasons why most of us aren't getting to create the money, aren't feeling good around money. It's very systematic. Okay, so as we get started here, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Sarah Longoria. Obviously, you're on my personal page. So, hello. I am the creator of this amazing company, Hey You Human, over here, and the creator of the Rapid Relief Technique, which is a groundbreaking method that teaches you how to get relief from everything you don't want in life so that you can create more of what you do. And Hey You Human is really an amazing creation of mine that is really here to help more humans understand what this experience is about and how to make the best of it. I feel like so many of us are just struggling and tripping and falling through this experience instead of really enjoying all parts of it. And that's what Hey You Human is really about. And after being in the coaching and the personal development world for a long time, we really created a company, a membership, a community that's very different than that world and is really based on bringing people back to themselves and helping them create what they want in this world and helping them understand how to do it with, all the resources that they need. So it's a amazing company. We're doing amazing things, and we did so this is the Truth About Money 2.0. So welcome. I'm excited. We have hundreds of people registered for it. I'm excited to see who shows up. I'm excited to talk with you about all things money because, as I said earlier, it's important. It is important in our lives. You cannot be your fully expressed self without the resource of money. It is how we have chosen in this world to pay for things, to do things. You need it. And my guess is you probably need more of it. You probably need more of it. And so what's going on in our world? Why are there so few people that have money? Now, it's interesting because I've had a super money journey. And I talked about this in the Truth About Money 2.0, like a super money journey. I mean, I have had no money. I have, had 12 cents in my bank account and been like, well, that's not good, right? I have had lots and lots and lots of money. I've gone into debt. I've come out of debt. I have really gone on a money adventure. And I want you to really realize, and I know this is frustrating. I feel like this is frustrating when people told me this, especially in some really hard times money-wise in my life, and especially those of you, because I know money-wise, there's such a discrepancy in our world when it comes to money. I mean, there are people that have more than they could ever use, and there are people that literally do not have any and don't know where their money's coming from and don't know how to get up from the ground and just have no idea where to start. And I want you to understand, if you're one of those people, that have been really marginalized and oppressed by this world, know that this work and what I'm going to talk about is for you. Because when we get into the money mindset game, money mindset is only going to work for a very small amount of people. If you're just going to go out and start saying, I'm a money magnet, blah, 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 money comes to me, all of this stuff, that's only going to work for a very small amount of people. And that's mostly what you see out in the world when it comes to money, right? You need to change your mindset around money. And when you look, and I'm a person, my background's very sciencey, very neurophysiology and biomedical sciences and research. And so I'm a big researcher. When I hear something, when I see something, my immediate thing is to start doing research. I like the proof. The proof is in the pudding for me, right? In the solid of something being there. And don't get me wrong, I'm energy and spirituality, and I believe in the faith as well. But when someone's telling me okay, this is how you change your life, I'm like, is it? Right? And I'm going to really start to research it and watch it. And so when I look at the world right now, more than ever, we have more access to money information, money mindset work, books on money, classes on money. I mean, free too. Like here I am talking to you for free. I mean, it's everywhere. It's accessible to most people. If you have a cell phone, you have so much access to so much free content when it comes to money. And so one would say that if this stuff worked, and the same thing in the manifesting world, if you're a manifester, if you're here, a law of attraction person, there's more stuff in this world right now than ever before. More people have access to understanding how this world works, how money works, blah, 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 blah. But that's not what you're seeing. You're not seeing the proof of this working. You're seeing the rich get richer, people who are already rich get richer. You're seeing the 1% basically stay the 1%. You're seeing a few outliers and a little bit of change. But you're still seeing the same old that we've seen for a lot of years. In fact, you're seeing some even worse stuff. You're seeing more people than ever going into debt. You're seeing more people than ever going bankrupt. You're seeing more people than ever having financial stuff. They actually said that after COVID, women of all colors, are struggling financially more than ever before. More than ever before, we are watching an entire demographic, women, go through one of the worst financial struggles since they've been able to have access to money. Which you have to think to yourself, well, that doesn't make sense. Women have more access than ever to creating abundance. La, 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 la. Yet it seems the opposite's happening. And when I see that, I immediately, my spidey sense goes up and I'm like, something's not right here. And that's kind of what happened for me really on my healing journey, really on my journey of becoming who I am now, was something was up for me. Like I was like, wait a second, I'm reading all these books, I'm doing all these things, and not just on money, on relationships and all of this stuff. And I'm like, this doesn't really work. Like it sounds nice in theory. Okay, change your mindset, change your life. Your thoughts become reality. And part of that, you guys, is true. But we're missing a huge chunk of the story. Now, the problem is the whole mindset, changing your thoughts, blah, 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 works for a very small amount of people. And so when it works, we're like, oh, well, it worked for them. It must work for us. And you see people say this, if it works for me, it'll work for you. Well, yes, if you have the rest of the story. If you have the rest of the story and how to actually do that. And that's really what we're going to be talking about today. This is what I talk about my membership. You know, you guys, we have the Happy Human membership. And when we did our, we just had a bunch of new members come in, and we're really focusing right now kind of on money and power and healing some really deep stuff. You see people pop like this. You see them come in, we're doing the wealth code. You see them come in and it's just like, they're like, oh my God, I did, and money's this, and money's this. Like, because that mindset stuff and that works. But once you get the rest, then it works. And you made a really good point, Asher. The part of it's working for a tiny piece and only a little at a time, then you fall back. You fall back. Have you ever had that happen? That happened to me actually very recently. Like we were on this like crazy upward projection. I mean, millions and millions of dollars making at ease so fast, so easily. And then all of a sudden, it started to go down. And if you guys are new to this, like I'm a super transparent person. Like I don't hide from you all the things that happen in my life and my business. Like you get it all. And it started to go down. And I was like, what the hell? And what I really realized was happening was I was being influenced again by the shit collective consciousness. And so when it comes to manifesting or getting what you want in your life, because it is a lot about what you believe, but what we don't understand is that our beliefs are not our conscious thoughts. You can walk around all day, you guys, and be like, $10,000 is coming to me. $10,000 is coming to me. And you're like, where's the $10,000? can work on your money mindset all you want. And I know some of you have. And you're still sitting here being like, what the hell? Where is it? Well, because your beliefs have a very small amount to do, about 5%, with your conscious thoughts. The rest is your subconscious thoughts, again, a small percent, your nervous system, and your DNA, baby. Yes, your DNA. So, and I'm going to get a little controversial right now, and sometimes people don't like it, but oh well. So when a white man who has had a lineage of money, who lives in a society that puts a white man on a pedestal and tells a white man that he's better than everybody, he gets to be successful, he's the powerhouse, decides to change his money story and start working on his thoughts, it's much, much more likely that he skyrockets. Now, when a black woman, let's remember, black people were slaves not that long ago. Women were property not that long ago. So this beautiful black woman has double negative going for her. She does all these money mindset things. And she's like, well, what the hell? This isn't working for me. Why? Well, because her nervous system has been trained for frickin' centuries. She doesn't get to have that. And furthermore, her DNA has been bombarded with the idea that she doesn't get to have that. No, not for you. And so are there outliers? Hell yeah. Are there people that can skyrocket? Sure. And so we look at them and we say, well, that person did it. Why didn't you? Well, gee, I don't know. My nervous system, my DNA has been programmed to tell me I can't, and society continues to bombard me, consistently also telling me I can't. You know, that subconscious bias, all of those like subliminal messages we get from the media, from movies, from all sorts of stuff. And so when we look at how we're trying to shift our world, how we're trying to help people rise up, we're not doing any of the stuff that they actually need to rise up. And that's why we see people who tend to be white and privileged and male take these things and skyrocket, and the rest of us are left behind. And we're like, what the hell? And then we get frustrated. Then we just decide, well, it just must not work for me. And we continue to believe the bull crap that the conscious collective tells us, which is it doesn't get to be for us. And we don't even know. We don't even know that we really believe that, because it's up here in our conscious thoughts that we're saying we get to have it, but all the rest of it's down here. All the rest of it's down here. Yes, and then like Melissa said, you said, I did it so you can message. And then you're like, okay, well, yeah, maybe I can. But like, then it doesn't work. And then you just feel like an idiot, right? Then we perpetuate the frickin' self-hate. I know, Crystal, I can't wait to be on the main stage either, because then all that does is perpetuate the self-hate, which keeps us from all the good in this world. And so now you have all these people telling you, well, if I can do it, you can do it. What the hell's your problem? And consciously, you may be thinking, no, I can do it. I can't do it. But down in that nervous system, down in those deep emotions in your body, something's different is going on. Those are saying, yeah, you can't do it. That's right. You're shit. And that just perpetuates this disconnect from yourself, this ability to love yourself, this ability for you to know that you get to have what everybody else has. Because I want you to hear that right now. Every single person that is on this, every single person that is here with me gets to have anything that is available in this world. It is for you. It is for you. It's for me, it's for them, it's for you. It's for all of us. None of you are excluded from the love, the privilege, the wealth of this world. Just some really shitty people have told you that you are. And it's time for us to motherfucking change that. Because it pisses me off. It pisses me off that so few of us get to experience this world how it's meant to be experienced. That so few of us get to understand the magic of this realm. And that most of us end up having everybody else's fun built on our backs. And that's what happens. That's what happens to the most marginalized and oppressed humans in this world. The rest of the fun is built off of their backs. It doesn't have to be like this, you guys. It doesn't have to be like this. There is a way for all of us to get what we want and really work together. But we got a bunch of bullshit going on that's keeping us from this information, that's keeping us from understanding the truth, that's keeping us from doing the things and having the understanding so that we can actually create lives for ourselves. So let's start breaking this down. Let's start breaking down how we actually do this. And we're going to talk about this a little bit today. And then tomorrow, for day 2, we're going to go even deeper into really the process of understanding these truths and how we start getting them out of our body. Because here's the real truth about money. There's really only one. And it is this. It exists and it's here for you. Yes, for you. It exists and it's here for you. Now, what are all the other truths that we have? Now, there's going to be a lot of conscious truths that we have, but there's going to be a lot of other truths that just live in us. There's never enough. Easy come, easy go. More money, more problems. Money is bad. Money is the root of all evil. And then it gets even more complicated. And this is why, you guys, so many people are such a, like, money's just like, to you. Like, you can't get it. Because the way we operate and the way we create beliefs and the way we really, our DNA and our expression of our DNA happens. Remember, science nerd over here. We create these rules to keep us safe. So let's go back to that black woman that I was talking about. Let's go back a couple 100 years. So first of all, it was against the law for her to have money. It's against the law. And so to keep herself safe, no money. Also, to keep herself safe, she had to fall in line. Fall in line or you get hurt. Same thing with just women in general. You ever wonder why as a woman you people please? You have such a hard time speaking up and speaking out? Well, because you literally have been programmed and conditioned for centuries to shut up. You ever look and wonder why, one of the biggest questions I get asked around money is, well, Jewish people went through the Holocaust, they were almost eradicated from this earth, they were able to bounce back. Why haven't black people been able to bounce back like that? Well, let's remember, before the Holocaust happened, Jews had a long line of also being told they're the chosen people. They get to be blessed by God. They get all the riches of the world. And so before the Holocaust happened, which did suck, we're not going to say it didn't, they had centuries of being told they get riches and are the chosen people. So it was way easier to bounce back from that. It was already coded in their DNA. It was already there. So when they started doing the work to crawl back out of the hole, it was a lot easier. When you look at the demographic of a lot of people of color, they're never told that, ever. You go to tribes, different cultures, go over to India, go to different places. That was never something that they've ever been told. And you can look back, centuries being told speak only when spoken to. It's the same thing with women. It's one of the reasons why women have such a hard time creating wealth, holding wealth in this world. Since the beginning of civilization, we had a moment where we were super powerful and revered. But once civilization came about, once trading happened, once money came into the game, sit your ass down, woman. You don't get to have any of this. It wasn't, guys, until the frickin' 60s and 70s of the 1900s that women were able to actually have a bank account without a man on it. And so ladies, all of my ladies who are on here, when you feel so frustrated around money and you feel like, why is money so hard to come by for me? Give yourself a moment and realize that we've actually come a long way in a really short period of time. Like, really, when you think about it, like, I can't wait to see what we do in the next 100 years. I mean, damn. Give us freaking 70 years and we're skyrocketing it. Now, we haven't completely done, I think, all that we want to do because, give us a moment. I agree with you. Black people were kings and queens, though. They were. And if you go back far enough in history, what you'll actually see, guys, is that all of us have been marginalized and oppressed at one point or another. It's all living in us. It's all living in us. And so it makes sense that when you look at the world, only 1% of people have been able to really figure out the wealth game. And one of the reasons they've been really able to figure out the wealth game is because then they created themselves their own little bubble. They created themselves their own little bubble that just perpetuated the understanding and the idea and the belief system that money works for you. You get to have whatever you want. You ever talk to a super rich person about money? If you talk to me about money and you say to me, well, I don't have enough, I'm like, that's bullshit. There's more than enough in this world. I don't ever believe money can stop me from doing anything. And when you talk to people that are from generational wealth and have had wealth for a long time, they literally are like, why would you not ever have money? There's always a way to make money. There's always an ability to make money out of money. Money just shows up. If you ever read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that's a very good example of that. It's why generational wealth works. It's generational. It's in the DNA. It's in the DNA expression. You're consistently surrounded by it. When you're consistently surrounded by people that tell you over and over and over again, you get to have it. You get to make it. It's for you. You believe it. When you're surrounded by people that tell you, no, you don't get to have this. This isn't for you. Oh, good luck. Oh, yeah, right. And that's what happens when a lot of people try to break out of their bullshit. A lot of people, you grow up in the projects, and I've worked with these beautiful children that, are living in the project. I've worked with sex workers. I've worked with all sorts of stuff. And it's like, when they try to get out of these cycles, They go to their support system and they say, like, I'm going to do this. And half the time the support system comes back and is like, yeah, right. Good luck with that. And so, not only, oh, hell yeah, I totally know that the most powerful groups of people were purposely oppressed out of fear and jealousy. Of course. Because we have a fundamental belief in this world that there is not enough, that there's a finite amount. This is one of the biggest flaws, one of the biggest illusions that is working against us. We believe there is only so much to go around. There's one pie. And if we all have to share the pie, well, I'm going to take the biggest piece. Don't take my pie. But that's not true. That's not the way the universe works. This world is an infinite, limitless world. Have you ever thought about that? There was a time when there was only I don't know, $20,000 circulating in the world. And now there's trillions and trillions circulating and a whole new currency coming about. And people will say, oh, but Sarah, what if all the cash just disappears because of the economy? Well, then we'll find something else that works as currency. Currency will never disappear. Whatever the currency is, may, but currency will never disappear. And so getting your money shit in order has nothing to do with actual paper money or gold or crypto. It has to do with whatever currency we're using and whether or not you feel like you get to have more than enough of it. And so fundamentally what our world has created is this fundamental idea of lack, that there isn't enough. And so because there isn't enough, I need to get what's mine, and I need to keep those who may take it from me down. But again, that's not the truth. There's not just one pie. You can have a pie, you can have a pie, you can have a pie, you can have a pie. As we desire more in this world, God creates it for us. Universe creates it for us. Whatever it is that creates, co-creates with us, creates it for us. Remember the time when we couldn't fly planes? Well, now we have planes all over the place. Every problem we have on this earth has a solution, and an easy one staring us in the face. We just have to believe we get to live without struggle. We get to live in the more than enough. We get to live in a beautiful, abundant world. And we don't believe that right now. The collective conscious doesn't. The collective conscious believes we live in a struggly, shitty, harmful, hurtful, crap, dividing, icky world. Don't play their game, you guys. Don't live there. It's not cool. And furthermore, when you live in the collective conscious like that, all it does is irradiates and continues to perpetuate your conditioning, programming, and DNA and nervous system crap that you're trying to get rid of. And that's what happened to me for a moment, right? I had removed myself from the collective conscious. I created greatness. Money-wise, relationship-wise, health-wise, all sorts of stuff. And then I slowly started to listen to some people that were telling me things that I loved. I loved them. And it slowly started to bring me back into this world. And then I started to question everything. And I wasn't doing the work that I teach and do. But you know what's awesome? Is that I started doing the work that I teach and do, and boom! Within a couple weeks, I was back. I was back. You don't have to play in this world, you guys. If you play in this world, you will stay in this world. And that world will drag you down. And it will continue to perpetuate the idea that you don't get to have, that there isn't enough, that you aren't enough. It's icky down there. We got to go into the bubble. And it's not that we just bypass what's happening in the world. You can listen to me talk. I talk about what's happening in this world. I completely tore down my business and redid it because I wanted to figure out how to make it more inclusive. I wanted to figure out how to make it more available to more people. I wanted to figure out how to make our marketing approach different so that we weren't targeting people's dopamine. We weren't falling into that. It's not to say you ignore the world. Can I talk about what I was doing that you stopped? Yeah, I mean, and I'll talk about this a little bit as I go, Anna, and a lot more tomorrow. But the first thing that starts with this, guys, and this is where I was talking about, you know, here we have all this stuff in our bodies because we've made these vows. We've made these stories. We've made these things in our body to keep us safe. Right? We have decided we have to sit down, we have to shut up. We can't be our full selves. Money isn't safe, right? There's a lot of that goes into our ancestry and our history, right? Money isn't safe. We get hurt when we have money. People take from us. I'm a bad person when I have money, right? There's all these stories that have been handed down to us, that have been perpetuated by society, that live in us when it comes to money. And a lot of this lives in our DNA, you guys. A lot of this lives in our DNA. Now, the good news is that you can change your DNA. Now, actually changing your DNA, and this is where I'm going to talk about, Anna, this is what I learned in my last kind of thing I went through. We can change our DNA. 100% you can change your DNA, but it takes a while. It takes a little while to change that DNA. But what we can change really quickly is the expression of our DNA. So let me tell you a story, and I'm going to tell you, like, this is just such a cool story. So when I had all of my genetic tests done, just because, you know, I'm a nerd and I was like, I want to know all about my genetics. And so I got this whole test done on all my genetics, like basically what I'm predispositioned for, all the different things, all the stuff. It's a really cool thing to do. Kind of scary in a way because you're like, wow, now I know all of the stuff. It wasn't that scary for me because I know that my DNA does not limit me. I know that the DNA is a blueprint and I'm able to change the expression of it. And so for me, it was kind of like a beautiful way to look at it and see what I need to be looking for so that I can apply the work I do and like what we teach in the membership and with Hey You Human so that I can change the expression of it. So for example, in my DNA, it says that I only produce the like not so good estrogen. Like the one that like causes the breast cancer, causes the endometriosis, causes the ovarian cancer, which like everybody in my family, all the women died of ovarian cancer. I had endometriosis, you know, before and all of this stuff. And so that checked out, right? Checked out. Now I was working with a naturopath at the time and she was doing all of my actual tests, like my hormone tests, my blood tests, my everything like this. What my hormone test showed was that I was only creating the good estrogen. And at this point in my body, I had healed myself from endometriosis. I had all sorts of issues, like, you know, 5 or so years ago, autoimmune problems, you know, endometriosis, cysts, all sorts of fun. And I didn't do anything other than this work of really deep emotional healing and shifting to really change that. And so here's my DNA saying you only make this, but I'm expressing it completely different and actually only creating the one that works for me. Which is cool. Now, I know from a science perspective that if I keep this up, eventually that's going to change the DNA. That it's going to take a moment. So when I started doing this work around money, and I started looking at all the stuff around my money and I started really going deep. And tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow we're really going to talk more about the process of how you do this. Like the process of what you do to start seeing what's there in your money story, how to start removing it. We're kind of going to go through that tomorrow. So when I started looking at my money stuff, and remember this money stuff, you guys, and they've tested this, your happiness, your money, your all of this, there's this book about happiness and the guy basically says, oh, you're predispositioned for how happy you get to be. So like, if you're not a happy person, like it's likely just your genes. Sorry. We call them in our work DNA set points. Like it's where your DNA is set at. And if we don't do anything about it, our DNA set points will run the show. They will run the show. They are our deepest set and system of beliefs. They will run the show. And so if your DNA says, oh, you only get to be this happy, you're going to have endometriosis, you're not able to make money very easily, that's what you're going to create and have and see in your world. And that's how most of us are living. We're just being like, well, this is how it happens. And we're fighting it and we're frustrated. And maybe we're doing a little mindset work or trying to like do a full moon ritual or, change our lives through actions and stuff like that. But often it's not sticking, or often it just doesn't work, and it's frustrating and we feel like it's us. And yeah, it is kind of us, but it's also the fact that nobody actually told you what you actually need to do it. It's why when people come into our membership, things happen quickly for them often, because you get the rest of the story. So with the money stuff, I was like, well, hell, I bet you can just apply all of this to that. Might not be disease per se, but why not money? We got to start changing the DNA set points. Now, I did. I changed my expression. I did. I made millions of dollars in less than a year. Went from debt, making barely any money, to millions. And then what I stopped doing was I stopped keeping myself in my bubble. I stopped believing in myself. I stopped doing the work where every day I woke up and reminded myself of how it gets to be for me. I had already done the clean out, you guys. I had cleaned out all of the emotions that kind of lock up your DNA expression. So a lot of the reasons why the mindset work, the hypnosis work, even the subconscious work doesn't work is because when you have deep underlying emotions that were never processed, they kind of lock your DNA expression. It's like, nope, sorry, we can't change that because there is some serious fear around this. There's some serious guilt around this. There's some serious stuff around this. It is locked. Now, once we go deep and start processing that out, and that's what we really teach you how to do in our membership, it kind of unlocks and kind of cleans it out. So I had done that process. I had really gone deep with all of my money stuff. And it's a simple process in theory. You use what's happening in your world to get through those emotions. But it can be difficult for some of us because we don't like our emotions in this world. We're taught to breathe through it. I was literally watching an Instagram video this morning where somebody was talking about how she was feeling guilty and sad this morning. But you know what? The devil's not going to get her. Those terrible thoughts and the devil is not going to get her. She's going to breathe through it. She's going to push those back down and she's going to focus on the light. And I was like, well, that's great. But realize that you just pushed down all the stuff that's just completely holding your DNA expression hostage and keeping you from getting what you want. And so there's a ton of unhelpful crap out there that teaches us that. Ton of it. And don't get me wrong, a lot of it's by design. A lot of it's by design. Why? Because it keeps us marginalized, it keeps us oppressed, it keeps us hating ourselves and being disconnected from ourselves and not letting all the good in. It keeps us from our power. So I had done this clean out. I had unlocked my DNA expression. And so I was, and I changed it. Because again, guys, there are no rules about money. You make the rules about money. You do. You do. Not the world, not the guy over there, not even me. I make them for myself. And that's why money can be so confusing to people, because they look out in the world and they're like, okay, well, this person's saying this, but when I look over here, that's happening for that person. So how does that work? Well, because that's what they believe and that's what they believe. It's all based on your own belief system. Everything really is, but money especially is very much an expression of your belief system about yourself, about the world, about a lot of things. And so I had done the work. Things were changing for me and it was amazing. And what I stopped doing was really the part of this work, and now we do it in our membership every freaking day, you guys. We do something called the Daily Dose, where I go live in it and I give you the good stuff. We do it together. It's like all the bringing in the good, the remembrance of who we are, of what we get to create. And I wasn't doing that regularly. And I was entertaining thoughts and ideas of this world. I was really letting people influence me. And what happened is that old DNA is still there. You guys, do you hear the thunder? There's like a crazy storm going on right now outside my house. It's like thundering and lightning. Do you hear it? It just like shook the walls. Boom! And there's thunder. So what happened is that DNA, it doesn't change that fast. It takes lifetimes to change DNA. So the DNA was still there. And I was no longer working on the expression. I do too, Anna. I love a good storm. I was no longer working on this expression, so it defaulted back. It defaulted back. Boom, 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 boom. The thunder was just like, nature's sound effects. It defaulted back. This learning experience for me, guys, and this is why I love it. And this is why I said to you, like, whatever you're going through in life right now, and I get it because I've had some shit moments in life where I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Like some really bad stuff. And always when you get through it, if you really get through it and really process all your emotions around it, yes, I'm creating my own weather, Jody. You really can look back and see how it was actually 100% part of your path. Even the shittiest of shit stuff. And I've had some really shit stuff. And so, as frustrating as it was when my money started going wonky again, it was really necessary because it really made me understand this at such a deeper level. It really made me understand, and not only that, it made me be able to create our membership even better for it. Because then I really realized, wow, there needs to be a daily thing to this. Wow, this really needs to be not like a come in for a month and leave. Like people really need to come in here. Like we need to create like our own bubble. We need to create our own bubble where you're in here and you're surrounded consistently and constantly by the goodness. And we saw a lot of people, like I saw a lot of people who after they did like our one of our programs used to be called Unstoppable You, they did it and they had all this amazingness happen in their life. And then they came back like a year later and they're like, yeah, I mean like it was working, but now it's not. And like, it's just, and I'm like, come back. Like that's what happened. And that's why we changed a lot of our price structure and everything to make it so that like it can be a continual thing because it needs to be. And that's really what happened with me was I didn't realize how much it needed to be a continual thing because this world, you guys, we live in the collective consciousness. You can't get away from it right now. You can pull yourself out of it and be in your own bubble. But remember that bubble, our big bubble we're creating together is still living in this world. It's still living in this world, which is right now. And so we got to keep doing the work to like keep our bubble strong and keep that stuff out because you're going to run into it time and time again. You're going to have the people in your life that are like, no, I don't think so. What are you doing? That can't happen for you. You're going to have that rise up. And so you need to be in that bubble to where you can be like, no, this is how it gets to be. And you can continue to do the work and move through it so that it doesn't keep sucking you down and creating crap you don't want in your life anymore. Because it is possible, you guys, for it to just get better and better and better and better and better and better. It doesn't mean there won't be things that show up, but those things that show up are here for you to help you clean out the DNA, express differently, and actually get what you want. And actually get what you want. Ta-da! It's possible. And I know it more than ever because I went through this little moment that was like, and I was so annoying. I was so annoying about why is this happening to me again? And then I kept saying, there's going to be a reason for this. I don't know it yet, There's going to be a reason for this. And so it wasn't all terrible. I laughed, I went through it and just kind of was like, what the hell? And then finally all of a sudden I was like, wait a second, I'm not doing all the work I used to do. Oh, let's go back to that work. And then I did, and it changed freaking overnight. And I was like, oh yeah, this works. That's why I teach it. That's why I do it. That's why I created an entire company and an entire membership for people. And I'll talk more about the membership tomorrow, you guys, because I would love to have every single one of you who is not in there with us. You can see some of the people already saying how much they love it. I mean, if you're one of those people that wants to like get out of that matrix, come into ours. When people talk about the matrix, right? Like let's get real weird and spiritual for a minute. Like leave the matrix. You guys have to understand, like, you have to plug yourself into something. Like there's not like the matrix. The matrix is just a system of beliefs and programming and conditioning. And so you just have to be aware of what system of beliefs and programming and conditioning are you plugging into. And sometimes it's hard for us to plug into a new one when, like I said, our DNA is encased in those emotions that we can't get out of, right? I know you've had moments like that in life, right? Where you're trying to change something, but it's like you just can't get there. It's like something just like just pulls you back. It's those emotions that are in there. And that's what the rapid relief technique is all about. That's literally what we teach you to use, to do, to get them out. And the best thing about the rapid relief technique is that you can do it. I'm a very big, when I talk about empowering people, like I legit mean empowering you. There's a lot of bullshit in this personal development and coaching world where empowerment actually looks more like you become dependent on me and my energy. No. That is not what we want to create here, because then you're always dependent on me, and I don't want you dependent on me. I want you whole within you. And that's one of my favorite parts about the work we do is like, you can do it whenever you can do it. It's for you. You don't need me. I may be there to inspire or motivate and remind, which we need in this world, but I'm not your power source. You are. You are your power source. And it's teaching you every day more and more and more about your power source and how to come back to it. Because this current collective world has squashed your power source. It basically, everything the collective consciousness, the dominant collective consciousness does is to tell you that your power lives outside of yourself. It does it with money. It does it with religion. It does it with our medical field. It does it with food. It does it with everything. It teaches you that your power lives in all of those things. And it doesn't. Your power doesn't live in religion. Your power doesn't live in money. Your power doesn't live in the pharmaceutical world and getting healthy. Your power and all of that lives in you. It lives in you. And you can do all the things in the outside world, but until you do this stuff inside here, none of that's going to stick. None of that's going to stick wholly for you. And that's what happens with money. That's why people have such a wonky up and down with money, is because you often get to where you want and you're like, great, I'm there. And that's kind of what I did. I was like, great, I'm there. But I forgot about the fact that like my DNA, my deepest belief system has been coded for a long time telling me that's actually not how it gets to be for me. And so I had to go back to doing the work to remember. I'd already done the deep work. I just had to go back to the remembrance work. And so that's what we teach, is both the deep work to get it out and then the remembrance work to keep it going and flowing. It's everything you need in that beautiful membership, which like I said, I'll talk about that more tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to go more into the process. Like, what is this? How do we start understanding what is at our deepest level of coding for money? How do we start getting it out? How do we start looking at it? And how do we create this new belief system so that we can actually start thriving. We can actually start feeling good. Because at the end of the day, you guys, creating money in this world is not about the amount. There is going to be some of you in here that $50,000 a year is going to be like, holy hell, life is amazing. And there's going to be those of you that $1 billion a year is what it's going to take. We're all different in what we want to create and what we want. What the real thing about it is the feeling of having power over money. Really knowing that you're in charge of money. That money doesn't get to limit you or restrict you. That you are the creator of money. That there is always more to be made or had. And this is regardless of how you work. Because a lot of people say, well, you're an entrepreneur, so you're capable of always just making more. Well, that's because that's what you believe. That's because that's what you believe. You can learn to make more and have money come to you in all different ways. All different ways. It's just believing that and opening up our energy, our nervous system, and our DNA to that. And that's what we're going to talk more about tomorrow. What's the process of getting us over the hump to actually creating it? Yay. Beautiful humans, thank you all so much for being here live, for interacting with me, for listening to me. I hope this was good. I hope you took a lot from it. You can already start tonight just starting to explore money a little bit more. Start looking at how it shows up in your life, because it's going to show you. Life's going to show you what you believe. And we're going to talk more about that tomorrow. But you can see your dominant coding real easily just based on what's happening. But I love doing this with you guys. Day 2 is going to be fire, fire, fire. We're going to dive more into this. We're going to talk about the membership. We're going to talk about an amazing deal we have for you guys too if you're ready to join. And we'll go from there, beautiful people. All right, I shall see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Mwah.